Hey, welcome to Book Talks, and I'm going to be talking about Boys Don't Cry by Malorie Blackman. She's the writer who wrote Noughts and Crosses, which is an awesome series, so you should probably go look at that. This is the cover, and here's the back. It's pretty evident from the cover what is the content of the book, although I don't know why he's got grass stains on his ass. And yeah, it says down there that she's the award-winning Noughts and Crosses author, which, yeah, you should definitely check that out. If nothing else, then just for cultural reference, because it's kind of like one of those books that people talk about all the time, and if you've not read it, you sound like an idiot. Even though that's a pretty good series, I didn't have many high hopes for this book when I first picked it up. I bought it at a strawberry fair with my girlfriend about a year ago and finally picked it up a week or so ago, and I'm really glad I did. It was way better than I expected. I picked it up because I was bored and I've spent ages reading books for school, and I wanted something to read that didn't require much thinking at all, and I thought this would be it. It turned out to be pretty awesome, actually. The whole setup is the character Dante, who's passed his A-levels a year earlier than all of his friends, and he's waiting for the results, and he's hoping to get 4 A stars so he can go off and be a journalist. And then his ex-girlfriend shows up with a baby and says it's his. Would be a pretty bad start to the day. The rest of the story is about how he copes with that, how the baby Emma changes his life, and it's also about his brother Adam. The chapters are alternated between Dante and Adam. Not quite equally. Adam doesn't get as many chapters as Dante, but then the book's about Dante. At first I thought Adam was going to be a really boring character. We kind of got the impression that he was going to have some kind of brain tumour because he was getting headaches all the time. Turns out it's not a brain tumour, but I won't spoil that for you. A little while in we found out that he's gay, and who doesn't love a surprise gay character? So the fact that he's gay becomes really central to kind of the climax of the book. The feels, like, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it almost tore my heart out, this book, because there comes a point where you just become so attached to Adam and you want everything to turn out right, and there's always this small chance that it won't turn out right and everything looks dark. And I won't spoil it for you, but you should read it based on that part of the storyline, because it's well done. It's written well. What I really like about the book is the way Dante changes because of Adam. The fact that the whole family changes because of, not Adam, Emma. There's a point near the end of the book where they admit that they were all living in the same space, but they weren't really a family, and Emma brings them all together, and that's lovely. And also how Dante changes from calling Emma it to then saying she, admitting that he finds her beautiful and that he loves her. Towards the end of the book, he accepts Emma as a part of his life and no longer wants to get rid of her. It also made me really think about what would happen if I was in that situation. I'm not gonna be. It is really glad that I'm not gonna be in that situation, but it was something that I'd never really thought about before. It was interesting to see how quickly Dante's life kind of went from being all shiny and good luck for the future to being all central towards this teenage pregnancy and birth. And then when you get to the end of the book, there is a section that are thought-provoking questions, which looked like they were written for a book group, so I'm going to have a look at a couple of these. Number 3, you're threatening to take away my daughter because of no other reason than my age and gender. Is Dante right to worry about the social services becoming more likely to doubt his ability to be a single parent because he's a dad and not a mum? Can a single dad do just as good job as a single mum? That's an interesting one. I do think that it makes a hell of a lot of a difference because Dante's male and not female. That was something that I'd not really thought about before. I think the emphasis is always on single mums, and I don't think single dads really get enough credit. I think dads are always seen as the ones who are gonna fuck off and not come back. So I think that was really interesting, the fact that the book was written from the point of view of a teenage father rather than a teenage mother, because it kind of made you think about the situation in a whole different way and kind of empathise a lot more with teenage fathers. Dante realises in chapter 38 how he has in the past tolerated a friend's verbal homophobia. Are words just a form of assault in themselves? How hurtful is just a word aimed at a minority group? This video is going to go really, really long if I talk about that one. Words are really hurtful. Be nice to people. Boys Don't Cry. What influence on Dante and Adam's attitudes and actions do you think this belief had? How do their views change throughout the book? The end part of the book, which I really like, is this kind of acceptance of the fact that boys do cry. Well, they don't say that. They say boys don't cry, but men do. And I think that's a really important message to take from the book. The fact that, well, men have emotions too, and that we shouldn't, in society, take this view that men should hide their feelings. I think everyone has the right to have emotion and to express them, no matter who they are. What do you think might happen if Melanie should come back and reclaim Emma? How do you think the story might develop? Oh, if there was a sequel written where Melanie came back for Emma, I think I would burn the book. And the feelings. No, Dante and Emma are supposed to be together. End of story. Melanie was a bad mother. She dumped Emma on her father, and no, Melanie should not come back. Bitch face. I've known I was gay since I was 13, and what's more, I like it. Scratch that, I love it. Adam is very positive about his homosexuality at the beginning of the book. Yet as events spiral out of control, it is clear that homophobia still exists in our society. Oh God, really? I'd never noticed. How do both Dad and Dante react to Adam's homosexuality at the beginning of the book, and why do you think they might feel this way? Does Dante still feel the same way at the end of the book? At the beginning of the book, Dad and Dante kind of react with trying to sweep the fact that Adam's gay under the carpet. And while they're not openly being homophobic or being cruel to Adam about it, they make him feel that it's not valid. They tell him that it's going to be a phase. Well done to Blackman that she's written in a way that kind of presents an issue that's quite real. It happens a lot. A lot of parents do just sweep it under the carpet, even if they're not cruel about it. They kind of invalidate their child's experiences and say that it's a phase, and it's not a phase. Doing a runner is usually the man's province, not the woman's. At least he's had a child in his life, at least he hasn't done a runner like a lot of men do. How fair are these statements, and why do you think that Dad and this woman might feel this way? If this is true, why do you think this might be so? How does this attitude affect Dante's own struggle, for instance, with the social services? Again, I think that there is a lot of emphasis on the fact that guys are the ones that usually run away in relationships when there's children involved, and I think this book kind of reminded me that that's not always the case, that just because you're a guy doesn't mean you're going to go and do the bad thing. The mother might. I think it was just a really interesting point of view to have written from. Okay, there's also a bunch of stuff at the back, help numbers and stuff like that. There's stuff for teen relationships and sexuality, single parents and teen parents, and then there's gay issues, and they only give the Lesbian and Gay Foundation, so no help for bisexuals in there. Not that I'm bitter. And there's stuff for emotional help as well. I always quite like it when a book puts in kind of helplines in the back. Okay, so I'm bored of the questions now. What's also included in the back of the book is an advert for an app, which I'm now going to look at, which is designed by Malorie Blackman based on the book, and it's called My Crybaby. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so ignore the background, that's just an in-joke between me and my girlfriend. Here we go. Okay, it's a little bit blurry, but I think that's because it's intended for an iPhone or an iPod rather than an iPad. Well, let's just spell it wrong. Let's just honour the author. Not malformed Mallory. There we go, spelled it right. The happier your baby, the higher the score. I was promised this was going to be cute. This is fucking ugly. Jesus Christ, that's creepy. Ooh, realistic graphics. Oh, rock your phone from side to side to rock your baby. And look at all those touch marks. What the hell? Oh, what the hell? Yeah, look at that, full blow. Grumpy baby. Hi, Mallory. Hello. Oh, you can even check out the first chapter of Boys Don't Cry from the app, which I should mention is free, but if you want the full version you have to pay 69p for it. So if you try this game and you really, really like it, if you're amused by games that are just, if you're easily entertained, then you can go get the full version for 69p, I think it was. I'm not sure what it is in cents. There's also a trailer on Malorie Blackman's website for the paperback version of Boys Don't Cry, which basically just tells you the blurb in a form with actors, and it's some really bad acting. I'd love to be nice about it, but it's really bad. I'll include a link to that down below, so you can go watch it. That's it for this book talk. See you again soon.